Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I am Anil Thomas. Coming up in the next hour, India's External Affairs Minister to attend 19th Summit of the Non-Aligned Movement in Kampala. North Korea conducts test underwater nuclear weapon system, says test a protest against this week's trilateral military drill. India's Prime Minister to inaugurate the state-of-the-art Boeing India Engineering and Technology Centre campus in the southern Indian city of Bengaluru. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate the 6th edition of Khelo India Youth Games in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will lead the Indian delegation at the 19th Summit of the Non-Aligned Movement NAM in Kampala. The two-day NAM Summit will begin today in the Ugandan capital, Kampala. The 19th NAM Summit will focus on deepening cooperation for shared global affluence and will bring together more than 120 developing countries. The summit will be preceded by deliberations at the ministerial and senior official levels. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Thursday met his Maldivian counterpart Musa Zamir on the margins of the NAM summit in Uganda's Kampala. The two leaders had a frank conversation on ties between the two countries. They also discussed non-aligned movement-related issues. On his part, Maldivian Foreign Minister said that the two sides exchanged views on the ongoing high-level discussions on the withdrawal of Indian military personnel, as well as expediting the completion of ongoing development projects in the Maldives and cooperation within SAARC and NAM. He said that both sides are committed to further strengthening and expanding our cooperation. Earlier back home, MEA spokesperson Randir Jaiswal said that India and Maldives held talks for a mutually workable solution to ensure the continued operation of Indian aviation platforms that are providing humanitarian services. He added that during a core group meeting, both countries discussed about various aspects of the bilateral relationship.
Regarding Maldives, Siddhant, you would have seen that on 14th we had a meeting of the core group. In the core group, we had detailed discussions on several aspects of the bilateral relationship. We also made available what was discussed in the meeting through a press release. And then in that press release, we mentioned that both sides held discussions on finding mutually workable solution to enable continued operation of Indian aviation platforms that provide humanitarian and medevac services to the people of Maldives. The next meeting is to be held in India to take discussion forward. Regarding your projects in Maldives, obviously the core group meeting happened on 14th. On our part, we remain committed to our projects to take them forward. We have been an important development partner of Maldives. We remain committed to doing all things that we can do as a development partner of Maldives in keeping with their priorities.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar also met counterparts from Angola, Belarus and Egypt. He held a good meeting with Angolan Foreign Minister, Ambassador Tete Antonio. The two leaders discussed the expanding India-Angola and India-Africa cooperation. They also spoke about cooperation in multilateral fora. Jaishankar thanked Antonio for extending visa-free arrangement for Indian nationals. Jaishankar held a useful meeting with Belarusian Foreign Minister Sergei Alenik. The two leaders exchanged views on India-Belarus cooperation in various fields. They also discussed developments pertaining to the Ukrainian conflict. Dr. Jaishankar also expressed delight to meet Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shouri. He appreciated Sameh's assessment and insights on the ongoing conflict in Gaza. They also noted the continued progress of bilateral cooperation following the exchange of visits of the leaders in 2023. North Korea has conducted a test of its underwater nuclear weapon system on Friday. North Korea's state media in a report said that the test was conducted in protest against this week's joint military drills by South Korea, the United States and Japan. The report further said the test of the Khelo 523 system, a name North Korea has given to its nuclear-capable underwater attack drones, was carried out by the Defense Ministry's think tank in the waters of its east coast. The three countries' navies held their three-day regular drills until Wednesday, alongside the U.S. aircraft carrier Carl Vinson, as part of the efforts to improve the responses to Pyongyang's evolving nuclear and missile threats. DD India correspondent Andrew Wood joins us from Hong Kong. Andrew, good morning. Is this a tit for tat that North Korea is doing, considering what they have seen, the trilaterals between the three nations that's taken place in South Korea?
Well, I think, let's be skeptical for a moment. North Korea hasn't really given any details of this test, exactly where it happened, exactly when it happened. And I suspect it's possible that North Korea may well have been planning it anyway and decided to keep it quiet. But the naval drills between South Korea, Japan and the United States, the three countries that North Korea dubs as its worst enemies, took place this week. So it's an opportunity, a propaganda opportunity for the North Koreans to announce this and remind the world that it's developing these weapons. Even if it is a case like that, it was a case of opportunism by the North Koreans, though it doesn't really improve the situation in the region. It probably makes it worse. It makes the tension a little bit more tense. So, as I say, it might have been something that the North Koreans were going to do in secret anyway and not tell the world. But this probably does make the place, the northeast of Asia, a more dangerous place, I think.
Okay, Andrew, looking at the North carrying out similar tests previously, do you somewhere get the sense that this time around, when it is happening, there is an escalation, especially in the North's rhetoric with regards to the peninsula and the region?
Yes, I think so. And this is the second time that we've known about a test, or at least that North Korea has claimed it had a test. It first tested it, the Khelo underwater drone, back in March last year. And at the time, it said this was designed for sneaky attacks in foreign waters, enemy waters, and also for attacking groups of warships. And that's pretty much, what we see with a US carrier strike force, a big aircraft carrier with several support ships, or also for overwhelming ports. Remember, hail means tsunami in Korean, and the idea of this is that when you explode the nuclear weapon underwater, it will create a radioactive tsunami, a gigantic wave that could overwhelm these ships and overwhelm ports.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you. Appreciate you joining us. Andrew Wood reporting for DD India from Hong Kong. Shifting focus, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has told the United States that he objects the establishment of any Palestinian statehood as part of any post-conflict scenario that did not guarantee Israel's security. In a nationally broadcast news conference on Thursday, Netanyahu emphasized that Israel must have security control over the entire territory west of the Jordan River.
For 30 years, I have been very consistent, and I say a simple thing. This conflict is not about the absence of a state, a Palestine state, but the existence of a state, a Jewish state. Therefore, I clarify that in any arrangement in the foreseeable future, with an accord or without an accord, The state of Israel must have security control over the entire territory west of the Jordan River. That's a necessary condition.
Iran-allied Houthi militia launched 2 anti-ship ballistic missiles at the US-owned tanker ship on Thursday night that hit the water near the vessel. The latest incident caused no injuries or damage. The United States launched additional strikes early on Thursday targeting 2 Houthi anti-ship missiles that were being deemed an imminent threat to shipping and US Navy vessels in the region. Earlier in the second attack this week on a US-operated vessel in the region, the Genco Picardy came under attack in the Gulf of Aden late on Wednesday, sparking a fire on board and prompting the Indian Navy to rescue the crew. India diverted a warship deployed in the region to rescue the 22 crew members on board the Genco Picardy, including 9 Indians. The crew were all safe and the fire was extinguished. Moving on, Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh at a briefing on Thursday said that the US is not at war with the Houthis in Yemen. She added that it is acting in self-defense in responding to attacks to vessels in the Red Sea corridor.
No, we don't seek war. We don't think that we are at war. We don't want to see a regional war. The Houthis are the ones that continue to launch cruise missiles, anti-ship missiles at innocent mariners, at commercial vessels that are just transiting an area that sees 10 to 15% of the world's commerce. The U.S. is what we are doing with our partners is self-defense.
Well, tit-for-tat strikes between Iran and Pakistan have raised the risk of escalation in the West Asia. It also came a day after Iran launched attacks in Iraq and Syria, which it said was targeting Israeli espionage and Islamic State operations.
Iran sent shockwaves around the region on Tuesday with a missile strike against what it described as hardline Sunni Muslim militants in southwest Pakistan. 2 days later, Pakistan in retaliation attacked what it said were separatist militants in Iran. The first airstrike on Iranian soil since the 1980-88 Iran-Iraq war.
This morning, Pakistan undertook a series of highly coordinated and specifically targeted precision military strikes against terrorist hideouts in Sistan-o-Baluchistan province of Iran.
Tuesday's strike was one of Iran's toughest cross-border assaults on the Sunni militant Jaish al-Adl group in Pakistan, which it says has links to Islamic State, though both the neighbors appear to want to try to contain the strains.
Pakistan is our neighborly country, our friend and our brother. It was not the target of Iran's drones and missiles. The so-called group Jaish al-Adl, which is an Iranian terrorist group, has taken refuge in Pakistani territory, and we have discussed this topic many times with high-ranking military, security and political officials of Pakistan. They have operated within Iran in the previous days.
According to Brookings Institution's Vice President and Director of Foreign Policy Suzanne Meloni, the move deepened worries about West Asia instability that have spread since the Israel-Hamas conflict erupted in October.
Well, I would expect that the frictions along the border with Pakistan are not likely to escalate. They will continue to create political tensions between the two governments, but both governments have other issues to deal with, and it would be highly unusual if this were to rise to a very significant breach or an escalation of the violence. I think the larger conflict that is consuming the Middle East is the one that is directly related to the war in Gaza and the extent to which the Islamic Republic of Iran has mobilized its allies and proxies across the region to try to demonstrate that it can continue to wield influence and power without actually getting directly involved in the violence itself.
Iran's strikes are also intended to show its influence in the context of the regional crisis over Gaza.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. Turkey's inaugural astronaut with 3 European embarks on a historic journey to the International Space Station. Extreme weather wreaks havoc across the United States. And 4 new deep-sea octopus species discovered in a 100 square mile sized area of Costa Rica.
At this very special presentation of DD India, we take a deep dive into the history of Ram Temple movement.
Bhaya Pragat Krupala Din Dayala Kausalya Hitakari. Ram Kaj Kinu Binu Mohi Kaha Bishra.
Do watch this special documentary on Ram Temple movement retold on 19th of January at these times.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Anil Thomas. North Korea's foreign minister concluded his visit to Russia and returned to his country on Friday. Foreign Minister Cho Song-lu held a rare meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin as part of closer cooperation between the two nations. Along with government delegation, Cho held a meeting with his Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov. They discussed strengthening the strategic and tactical cooperation. North Korea's foreign minister's visit was the latest in a series of high-level exchanges since last year, after it was criticized for allegedly shipping artillery and missiles to Russia, though both North Korea and Russia deny the acquisitions. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov called North Korea a very important partner.
Речь шла в целом о двусторонних отношениях.
They discussed bilateral relations in general, the situation on Korean Peninsula, and an exchange of views on the most pressing international affairs. But the main emphasis is on the development of bilateral relations. And we have repeatedly said, and I am ready to repeat it again, that Democratic People's Republic of Korea is our very important partner. And we are aimed at further developing our relations in all areas, including sensitive ones.
Во всех областях, включая.
White House is keeping a close eye on recent exchanges between North Korea and Russia, which it termed as an unprecedented level of cooperation in the military sphere. White House Senior Director for Arms Control Pranay Wadi on Thursday said that the nature of the security threat posed by North Korea could change drastically in the coming decade. Responding to the meeting, top nuclear envoys from the United States, Japan and South Korea on Thursday held a trilateral meeting in Seoul and criticized North Korea's military cooperation with Russia. Jung Pak, U.S. senior official for North Korea, said that Pyongyang's transfer of short-range ballistic missiles and other weapons to Russia for use against Ukraine demand attention and coordinated action.
We strongly condemn this launch, which violates multiple UN Security Council resolutions. The DPRK's continued development of its unlawful nuclear and ballistic missile programs, its transfer of ballistic missiles and other weapons to Russia for use against Ukraine, its ongoing malicious cyber activities against countries around the world, and its continuing human rights violations and abuses against its own people, all of this demands our attention and coordinated action.
As Ecuador wages war against gangs under the leadership of President Daniel Noboa, security officials cracked down on a prison facility, conducting raids and search down after a series of violent incidents in past weeks, the most recent being the murder of prosecutor Cesar Soares.
A day after the murder of Ecuadorian prosecutor Cesar Soares in Guayaquil, 2 men were arrested by the police officials suspected of killing Soares. The late leader was handling prosecution charges against organized crimes in the Guayas. A rifle, 2 pistols, and 2 vehicles were seized during the raids by the police. While the search for 2 other shooters is still underway, police claims the criminals belong to a notorious group already classified as a terrorist organization.
The national police hypothesized that the criminals belong to the terrorist group Chon Killers. The reason for the crime is still under investigation, but we hope to obtain soon the whereabouts of the other two assassins who were in the back of the vehicle that were incinerated.
Following the nationwide violent outbreak in Ecuador, a raid was conducted by the security forces at Guayaquil prison. Video footage showed inmates face down on the ground as guards carried out inspections. The Ecuadorian army and police carried out several prison raids throughout the country since last week after a violent outbreak. Bureau reports, DD India.
Slovak President Zuzana Kapitova urged lawmakers on Thursday to reconsider plans to abolish a special prosecution office for higher crimes and reduce sentences for financial crimes, adding that this multiplies the risk associated with the amendment due to the lack of proper analysis. Led by Prime Minister Robert Fico, the government plans to fast-track necessary changes related to the Special Prosecution Office, which has sparked nationwide protests recently. While Fico asserts this is an attempt to modernize legislation, both the US and European Union have objected the attempts.
The fact that we are now standing here in this configuration as the entire government of the Slovak Republic is not an expression of respect for the president. It is an expression of respect for the bill that we are amending, the criminal law and the criminal procedure code, which will abolish the office of the special prosecutor because we consider these steps to be fundamentally correct and justified.
Protesting against the government's plan to scrap a special prosecution office for high crimes and lower sentence for financial crimes, people gathered at a rally in Bratislava organized by the opposition on Thursday. During the protest, the opposition urged the current Prime Minister to abandon his plans to reform criminal law with an accelerated procedure. After violent flare-ups induced due to gang rivalry, Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, was put on lockdown on Thursday. Flaming barricades across several neighborhoods forced residents to shelter in places or return home in the Caribbean country. The protesters burned tires and rocks with huge plumes of black smoke in the sky were seen across various parts of the city. According to human rights reports, 24 deaths had been reported in Solina since the weekend. The gang wars seek to pressurize current interim Prime Minister Ariel Henry as he nears his expiration of political accord. So far, no date has been set for a new presidential election in Haiti. Members of the United States National Guard were seen installing Cortina wires to prevent migrants from entering the US-Mexico border in Eagle Pass in Texas on Thursday. Texas has planned Cortina wires fencing on private property along the border, push tens of thousands of migrants to Democrat-led cities and states. Recently, it has passed a law authorizing state officials to arrest, prosecute, and deport people who cross the border illegally. The Guatemalan Migration Institute reported 132 migrants arrived in the Guatemalan city after being deported from Mexico on Thursday. The migrants are part of a group of 726 people found in a warehouse in central Mexican state of Tlaxcala. The Mexican Migration Institute reported that over 700 migrants were found on Jan 14th, which include individuals from Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Ecuador, and Nicaragua. The United Nations said migrants are heading through Mexico to the US to escape violence, economic distress, and the negative impacts of climate change. Beginning a planned 36-hour flight to the orbiting laboratory, Turkey's first astronaut and 3 other crew members representing Europe set off on a voyage to the International Space Station from Texas startup Axiom Space from Florida on Thursday. A SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule carrying the Axiom quartet lifted up about an hour before sunset from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral. Cameras inside the crew compartment showed footage of the 4 men strapped into their pressurized cabin in helmeted white and black flight suits as the rocket soared towards space. This is the third such flight organized by the Houston-based Axiom over the past 2 years, as the company builds on its business of putting astronauts sponsored by foreign governments and private enterprise into Earth orbit. In an effort to become the 5th country to put a spacecraft on the moon, Japan readies for a scheduled precision landing on Friday, which would also be a boost for the space program, lagging behind and eclipsed by rival China. Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency's Smart Lander for investigating moon probe will start a 20-minute touchdown phase from 1500 hours GMT today. Upon landing, SLIM will also deploy 2 mini probes, a hopping vessel as big as a microwave oven, and a baseball-sized wheeled rover that will take pictures of the spacecraft. Having faced multiple setbacks in its rocket development, JAXA is treading a sensitive way to successfully landing on the moon, which is much more difficult due to its gravity. However, JAXA says it will take up a month to verify whether SLIM has achieved the high-precision landing goals after the touchdown. In an attempt to bridge the vast gender gap at work, Japan has announced a former airline staff as the first female president of Japan Airlines. Mitsuoku Totori will take charge from April 1st, according to the airline's official statement, after current president Yoshiharu Uki vacated in April. The appointment comes at a time when Japan's industry is under pressure on the issue of gender imbalance in work and pay, and when airline is working towards regenerating pre-pandemic businesses. Weather updates now. A severe winter storm dumped thick snow over the streets in Nebraska on Thursday, as much of the United States was gripped by freezing sub-zero temperatures caused by the Arctic blast. Streets in Norfolk and Grand Island were also seen entirely covered as snow continued to fall and fierce winds were blowing. The National Weather Service strongly advised drivers in East Nebraska to avoid the roads until later in the evening, as both visibility and road conditions were not anticipated to improve. The severe weather was expected to persist through Saturday morning, but temperatures were expected to ease next week. A plane has suddenly skidded off the runway at the Frederick Douglass Great Rochester International Airport on Thursday amidst the snowy conditions. The airport officials said that 50 passengers and 3 crew members were on board when the aircraft veered onto the grass. The airport officials said no injuries were reported in the incident. Meanwhile, emergency services are responding to the area. At least 6 people have died and 2 others are missing in western Bolivia due to floods. Heavy rains lashed the city, causing a river to overflow in the past week. At least 95 houses were destroyed in the area, affecting 256 families. The mayor of Tiponi declared the area a disaster zone. Time now to take a look at some other stories making news across the globe. Scientists in Sitbit Ocean Institute have discovered at least 4 new deep-sea octopus species in a 100-square-mile size area of Costa Rica. The international science team discovered the new species during 2 2023 expeditions near the Pacific coast of Costa Rica. A remarkable collection of Winston S. Churchill's memorabilia will showcase at the 70th Winter Show in New York. It will run from the 19th to the 28th of Jan. The collection, sold individually, is regarded as one of the finest private collections of Churchill-related items. Historical drama Oppenheimer led nominations for the BAFTA Film Awards on Thursday, securing 13 nods, gothic comedy Poor Things received 11 nods, and Martin Scorsese's Killers on the Flower Moon got 9 nominations. Barbie starring Margot Robbie was nominated in 5 categories, and Britain's top movie awards will take place in London on the 18th of Feb. Still to come on DD India News Hour. First glimpse of Ram Lala idol inside Ayodhya's temple sanctum sanctorium revealed. Indian diaspora organizes car rally in USA's Cincinnati, expressing spirit and excitement of Lord Ram's consecration ceremony. And catch the glimpse of Republic Day parade rehearsals underway here in New Delhi ahead of the D-Day.
We are taking up the legend of our great epic, the Ramayana, and how it has influenced so many parts of Asia and beyond.
In Indonesia, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Singapore, Malaysia, you can think of all these areas where Ramayana is like, it's just a living thing. And their ballets and their dances and the music, they are all performing. It is just not itihasa alone, history alone, but it's a living being which has a place in every heart.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Anil Thomas. A quick recap of the headlines. India's External Affairs Minister to attend the 19th summit of the Non-Aligned Movement in Kampala. North Korea conducts test underwater nuclear weapon system, says test a protest against this week's trilateral military drill. India's Prime Minister to inaugurate state-of-the-art Boeing India Engineering and Technology Centre campus in the southern Indian city of Bengaluru. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate the Khelo India Youth Games in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate a state-of-the-art Boeing India Engineering and Technology Centre campus in Bengaluru today. The 43-acre campus in the southern Indian state of Karnataka's Bengaluru is Boeing's largest such investment outside the US. Boeing's new campus in India will help develop the next generation products and services for the global aerospace and defense industry.
Competitive supplier base in India, US aerospace giant Boeing's expansion and investment in India is all set for a new chapter. This new facility at Aerospace Park at Devanahalli on the outskirts of India's IT capital city Bengaluru will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself. Boeing will co-partner with India to execute high-quality advanced aerospace projects. This facility will support in providing required engineering expertise to Boeing's defense, space and commercial sectors. BIETC will play an important role in co-development of initiatives for Indian Defence Forces. The facility will leverage labs and state-of-the-art technology such as AI, IOA for collaborations with India. It is also expected to generate jobs for the people in the vicinity.
We have a huge presence both on the commercial as well as on the defence and services side in India. We are a leading partner of India on the aerospace sector. Getting the Honourable Prime Minister here is as iconic as the building itself and much bigger than that, I would say. We all are getting excited and looking forward to hosting the Prime Minister to inaugurate this facility tomorrow.
Boeing's presence in India is stretched across various collaborations like MROs, GSC and building a steady supply chain for the aircrafts manufactured by the company. Boeing has a long-standing journey in defence sector in India. Indo-US enhanced partnership has led to Boeing and India working closely, where Boeing has offered its defence equipments for Indian Defence Forces. Boeing C-17 Globemaster IIIS has proven to be the backbone of the Indian force and deployed in crucial and successful operations by India during the evacuation of Indians from Ukraine war and also during the COVID medical delivery operations. The custom-made Boeing B777 VVIP aircraft is used by President, Vice President and the Prime Minister of India for international visits.
This is where I think the next leap forward of the aerospace sector will start from. This is what it signifies. This is where India is going to take the next leap forward, in my opinion, in the aerospace sector. The vision, the dreams of several thousand people.
India's commercial market is expected to be the third largest in the world by 2041. Boeing forecasts India's carriers will need 2,200 new planes over the next 20 years. That will be a focus area for the company as well. Boeing's commercial expansion plans, also in line with the growing demand for aircrafts with India, create an infrastructure and network for facilitating flight connectivity across the country. On Thursday, Boeing won an order for 150 MAX jets from India's newest airline at Wings Aerospace Expo.
Atmanirbhar is all about self-reliant India. It's all about making for India and making for the world. Yeah. The engineers are an extremely talented bunch of engineers sitting here, and we are very, very hopeful that what they are going to... Today they work on very, very mission-critical programs, and all that they do is to make sure that flying is safe. All that they do is to ensure that India is shining, because the products that you see for Boeing across the world, that engineering works happened right here in this development center.
Prime Minister will also launch the Boeing Sukanya program that aims to support the entry of more girl children from across India into the country's growing aviation sector. The program will provide opportunities for girls and women from across India to learn critical skills in the science, technology, engineering and math fields and train for jobs in the aviation sector.
Till now, Boeing has always occupied the largest square meter area at India's biannual and Asia's largest aerospace exhibition, Aero India. But now, with this facility taking off, Boeing gives wings to a new and strong partnership with India's aligned vision of self-reliance in aerospace sector. Aisha Khanam, DD India, Bangalore.
Well, Prime Minister's Guarantee Ki Gaadi is reaching all districts of the nation. It is also creating awareness in urban areas regarding the central government schemes. Meghna Gaurav from Kandivali in Mumbai talks about her experience in Meri Kahani, Meri Zubani, as she benefited from various schemes, including PM Mudra.
Meghna Gaurav, a single parent, used to sell home-cooked food products on the footpath. She always felt the pinch as life was getting hard to live and selling was not enough. She gathered information of PM Mudra Yojana in 2016 and approached the bank for loan. Meghna then received a loan amount from Canara Bank.
मेरा कैटरिंग का व्यवसाय है. मेरे पास व्यवसाय के लिए मेरे पास पैसे नहीं तो मैंने 2016 में मुद्रा का लोन लिया, जो कि प्रधानमंत्री का तभी योजना आई थी, तो मैंने लोन लिया. वो लोन लेके मैंने मेरा व्यवसाय को आगे बढ़ाया और मैं सिंगल मदर हूँ, मेरे 2 बच्चे हैं, तो मैं ये व्यवसाय की वजह से मैं मेरे बच्चों को भी पढ़ा पाई.
Meghna then started her catering business with a loan amount. With her business doing well, her income became stable and she was able to repay her loan in time. She also took an education loan to educate her children, and today one of her sons is studying hotel management abroad. Meghna also benefited from PM Swanidhi, PM Suraksha Bima Yojana, Atal Pension Yojana, among others. Meghna urges other women to take benefits of the various schemes which central government has implemented for the betterment of the society.
Now we get you all the buzz being generated in the build-up to the consecration of the Ram temple at the Indian temple town of Ayodhya on the 22nd of Jan. The first glimpse of the new idol of Lord Ram placed inside Ayodhya's Ram temple on Thursday is out. Made in black stone, it depicts a 5-year-old Ram in standing posture. The face of the idol was covered with a veil. This comes days ahead of the grand consecration ceremony on the 22nd of Jan. Well, today marks the 5th day of rituals in the run-up to the consecration of the Ram temple in Ayodhya. Various events are being organized across the country in honor of the consecration ceremony in Ayodhya. A vibrant laser show was organized in the western Indian state of Gujarat. The laser show projected pictures of Lord Ram and was organized in Surat. Ahead of the consecration ceremony in the temple city of Ayodhya, a 300-feet earthen lamp has been prepared at Ramghat area of the city. It's the world's largest lamp and it has been lit this evening in the Indian city of Ayodhya. The mega consecration ceremony will be inaugurated by lighting a 300-feet lamp built at a cost of At a huge cost. This amazing lamp has been made from the soil of all the places of pilgrimage, seawater and cow ghee. The lamp has been named as Dashrath Deepak. 108 tins of oil, which came from goddess Sita's maternal home in Nepal, will be used to light the lamp. 500,000 laddus, which is a traditional Indian sweet, have been sent to the temple city of Ayodhya by the Mahakaleshwar temple management from India's Ujjain city for the Ram Mandir consecration ceremony on the 22nd of Jan. Meanwhile, several students picked up their paints and brushes and stood on ladders as they made artistic patterns and colorful paintings related to the Ramayana on the walls beside the roads in the Indian city of Ayodhya. The students were seen making paintings on the walls on the roadside as the consecration ceremony of the Ram temple nears. Along with painted walls and lit up monuments, the holy city of Ayodhya is decked up for tourists and devotees. As the city prepares for the grand ceremony, various selfie points have been established near the Lata Mangeshkar roundabout for the devotees in Ayodhya. It is decorated with statues, posters and banners. The spirit and excitement of Lord Ram's consecration ceremony in the Indian temple city of Ayodhya has moved beyond borders. In the US, the Indian diaspora, along with many Hindu religious groups, organized a car rally in Cincinnati. Over 50 cars decorated with bright yellow flags began the rally from a temple. The car rally was organized in support of the mega event taking place on the 22nd of Jan. Speaking on the consecration ceremony in Ayodhya, spiritual leader Sri Ravi Shankar in the South Indian state of Karnataka said that it's time for the people to unleash the emotion which has been held back for years.
It's a great moment for our civilization, for the entire country, a moment for which people have been waiting for past 500 years. The faith of the people of India and people of Sanatanis, Hindus, are so much attached to that, cutting across all the castes and languages of this country.
Let's take a look at other stories making news from across India. A case has been registered in connection with the death of 12 students and 2 teachers in India's western city of Gujarat, where a boat capsize incident took place. The boat was seemingly overcrowded, carrying a school group on a picnic that got overturned. A total of 20 people have been rescued in the operation. Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel, along with Home Minister, met the injured at the local hospital in Vadodara. At least 5 people died and 2 others were injured when a fire broke out in a residential building in northwest Delhi on Thursday evening. The cause of the incident is still under investigation. As per the officials, the fire started from the upper ground floor and spread to the rest of the building. In another such incident, at least 2 children were killed in a fire that broke out in the house of Indian southern coastal state of Maharashtra. According to the police, reasons that caused the fire are still unknown and investigation is underway. As India gears up for the 75th Republic Day, parade rehearsals at the Kartavya Path in the national capital is underway for the 26th of Jan. French President Emmanuel Macron will mark his presence as the chief guest of the occasion. It will be the 6th occasion when a French leader will be the chief guest at the Republic Day celebration. Still to come on DD India News Hour. Argentina nets first monthly trade surplus in December in nearly a year. An Indian duo of Satvik and Chirag continue their winning streak in the Indian Open. HS Pranoy reaches the quarterfinals. An Austrian freestyle mountain bike rider, Fabio Wibmer, takes on the legendary Stripe ski scoop in a dream come true attempt.
We have reached here, this place, Makhoda Dham.
मख माने जो है यज्ञ होता है, तो इसी जगह पे जब दशरथ जी महाराज के पास जब कोई पुत्र नहीं था, तो चौथे पन में दशरथ जी महाराज ने इसी भूमि पे पुत्रेष्टि कामय यज्ञ किए थे।
अयोध्या में सभी तरफ भी राम है।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे।
Divine meets divinity in Ayodhya. This is Mani Parvat.
ये वो स्थल है जब मां जानकी जी विवाह होकर श्री अयोध्या जी पधारी, अपार धन वैभव ऐश्वर्य दिया श्री जनक जी महाराज ने कि हमारी बिटिया खूब सुख समृद्ध रहेगी।
सीता राम नाम कीर्तन।
एक कीर्तन है जो 12 साल का है, चलते रहेगा। 3.5 साल हो गया ये।
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Anil Thomas. Argentina posted a trade surplus of $1.02 billion in December and closed last year with a $6.93 billion deficit. In December, Argentina registered nearly $5.3 billion in exports and $4.3 billion in imports, helping swing the country's trade balance for its first monthly surplus since last February. Argentina boosted a trade surplus of $6.9 billion in 2022. The U.S. has yet again managed to avert a partial shutdown. The U.S. House of Representatives approved a stopgap bill to fund the federal government through early March. The bill has been sent to President Joe Biden for final approval on Thursday. The measure was passed 314 to 108, with 106 Republicans and 2 Democrats in opposition. Earlier on Thursday, the Senate had easily passed the bill with a 77-18 vote ahead of the weekend deadline. The short-term package is meant to give lawmakers time to complete negotiations on annual funding for the fiscal year that began on October 1st. U.S. stocks gained ground on Thursday as investors rested over whether to embrace robust U.S. labor market data as a sign of economic strength that also weakened the likelihood that Federal Reserve could lower its key policy rate as early as March. All 3 major U.S. stock index were higher, with a solid rally in tech-related shares favoring the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.54%, the S&P 500 gained 0.88%, the NASDAQ Composite added 1.35%. Asian stocks bounced on Friday, buoyed by a Wall Street rally propelled by strong performances in the tech sector, especially chip manufacturers. Japan's Nikkei surged 1.49%, Hong Kong's Hang Seng rose 0.55%, South Korea's Kospi rallied 1.08%. China's Shanghai, however, slipped 0.3%, continuing its lackluster performance amidst weak economic data. Indian share markets opened higher on Friday, in line with gains with its global peers after trading in the red for the last 3 sessions. At open, the Sensex was up 612 points, trading at close to 71,799. Nifty rose 164 points to trade at 21,627. Oil prices drifted lower on Friday after a rally the day before, as geopolitical tensions and disruptions in the U.S. oil production from a cold blast were countered by concerns over slow demand growth in China. Brent crude futures fell 17 cents or 0.2% to $78 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures slipped 3 cents to $74 a barrel. On to sports now, the 6th edition of Khelo India Youth Games is set to witness a glittering opening ceremony in the southern state of Tamil Nadu. Prime Minister will inaugurate the Khelo India Youth Games on Friday. The KIYG, which is taking part in South India for the very first time, will witness the participation of around 5,600 athletes from all across India who will showcase their skills to back the top sporting honours. The Khelo India Youth Games will be held across 4 cities of Chennai, Coimbatore, Madurai and Trichy in the southern state of Tamil Nadu starting on Friday. DD India's Deepika Mato caught up with some gymnasts. Take a listen.
All sporting athletes have reached Chennai to participate at the 6th edition of Khelo India Youth Games. We have with us the gymnastics squad. Many congratulations to you. This is a great opportunity because sport is not about winning or losing but about participating. How excited are you?
I'm really excited and very motivated as well.
In which sport are you participating?
Gymnastics, artistic gymnastics.
And interestingly, Veer Mangai is the sports icon, is the mascot of this edition of Khelo India Youth Games. Do you take inspiration from her?
Oh yes.
How?
It's like, she's a woman, so it's like women empowerment and stuff.
And also when we talk about this particular edition of Khelo India Youth Games, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is himself going to come here and inaugurate the 6th edition of Khelo India Youth Games. How excited are you?
Yeah, like I'm very excited about this program. So he's going to inaugurate, right? It's going to be so fun, yeah.
Yes, you said it right. This is for the first time that Khelo India Youth Games is taking place in Tamil Nadu. But when we talk about the government support and how they've been, participating at different levels and motivating all the players, what do you think of it?
Yeah, they've been motivating us like a lot of times. Like the state level, it's happening very good. Well, like, yeah.
Does it help you?
Yeah, it helps us very much. Like they always take us to nationals. We have a very safe ride. Always when we come back. We have a safe, staying areas or something. Yeah, like that.
All right, all the best to all the team for participating at this very edition of Khelo India Youth Games. So you heard the gymnastics squad who is really enthusiastic about the event and very excited to have Prime Minister Narendra Modi also here, who is all set to inaugurate the 6th edition of Khelo India Youth Games. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting from Chennai for DD India.
On to badminton and Indian Open. HS Pranoy defeated fellow Indian Priyanshu Rajawat in a thrilling 3-game match, 20-22, 21-14, 21-14 in the men's singles pre-quarterfinals of the Indian Open Super 750 series. Chirag and Satvik then edged into the men's doubles quarterfinals, beating the Chinese Taipei's Lu Qingyao and Yang Po Han 21-14, 21-15. The Indian duo next face Anders Shakap Rasmussen and King Astrup of Denmark for a last 4 spot. In Paris, several hundred officers gathered near the police headquarters. The French police have threatened to disrupt airports during the Paris 2024 Olympics if their demands for bonuses and decent working conditions are not met. The protesters are demanding bonuses for working during the July 26th, August 11th Summer Games.
French police have issued a warning of potential disruptions at airports during the upcoming Paris 2024 Olympics unless their demands for improved bonuses and working conditions are addressed.
The protest will get even tougher. Stopping the airports, the administrative staff in the booths will take 25 minutes to check passport for arriving planes instead of 3 minutes. Then you'll see that the head of the Paris airport company will pick up his phone quickly and ask for the administrative staff and all police officers to be compensated for the Olympics.
The announcement made on Thursday reflects growing frustration among law enforcement officers. Officers who have been staging demonstrations in Paris and beyond are seeking a $2,174 Olympic bonus and assurances regarding vital social measures, particularly those related to childcare during the summer. The unrest coincides with a designated strike day for certain police employees with the authority to halt work, including forensics and select administration members. Set against the backdrop of a national holiday season, the Olympics are anticipated to exacerbate existing challenges faced by Paris's workforce. Persistent concerns over security threats coupled with chronic staff shortages in crucial sectors such as the police, hospitals and public transport underscore the urgency of addressing the officers' grievances to ensure smooth operations during the prestigious global event.
Fabio Wibmer rode his mountain bike down the legendary Sky piste in Austria earlier in January. The Austrian freestyle mountain biker was delighted to finally live out his dream of driving down the fearsome piste. The descent saw him reach a maximum speed of 107 kilometers per hour and land multiple jumps, including one of 14 meters in height and 36 meters in length. Please don't try that anywhere. They are done by experts under supervision. Well, that's all in this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also visit our website ddindia.co.in. We're going to be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Anil Thomas. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.